from my perspective,
I never stopped steering.
no, he stayed on the gas the whole time. From my perspective, it was 10 times funnier.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and with me, as always, is John, and this is Race Car Spelled Backwards Gen 2, Episode 94. John, we're in the new studio.
Well, yeah, I mean, we are in the new studio. Not quite finished.
No, it's not 100% done,
But it's, I mean, what would you say, 85%?
yeah, I mean, the walls are up, the lighting is up, the couch is in,
Yeah.
the air conditioner is working. Like,
What more could you ask for?
well, we got to paint, we got to hang decorations. We got a long way to go still, but
Yeah.
we had a great race in Kansas this weekend, and
And we had to record.
yeah, when you have a great race like that, you can't pass up.
Yeah, you
So,
got to record something.
we got to get on here. We got to talk about it. It's been 2 weeks. We missed you guys anyway, so
Yep.
we
Right.
figured we'd jump on here and do a show.
Yep. Probably going to be a little bit more laid back than usual today.
Yeah, and it might not be as long as normal, but we'll see how it goes. You never know.
Yep.
You really, when you start doing one of these shows, you really have no idea how it's going to go.
No.
It's kind of just hit or miss.
I know. Although our track record has been we've gotten longer each week.
Me and Jamie got really bad one time. We would get off like 2.5 hours,
Wow.
and that was just. It was getting exhausting, to be honest with you. Like, it was just
Recorded
too
for
much.
2.5 hours.
But you didn't know it. I mean, we talked about so much stupid crap for 2.5 hours. Like, you really never knew what was going to happen or where it was going to end up going. So
Obviously, if you talk for that long.
what did we miss? 2 weeks. We've had 2 races.
Talladega.
And Dover. I wrecked our sim rig.
Yeah, you did. That was, oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
How you forget about that? We laughed for like an hour straight.
It's been a slow day for me, okay? I had to get up early.
What'd you-
For me.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was early. But still, I mean, how'd that go anyway?
Oh, it went really good. So,
John was, you tell him what you did. I want to tell him.
I mean, you were going for it, but yeah, this morning, led worship with my worship team from church, our youth worship band. We led worship at the local high school, and it was my first time being on school grounds during school hours since kindergarten, I believe. So
Yeah, I think that would be about right.
yeah, so it was interesting. Luckily, I didn't really come in contact with the norm. I was with a pretty niche group of people, some good people.
They're normal. So you're saying your friends aren't normal?
That's not what I said at all.
So you didn't come in contact with the norm?
Oh well, high school norm, you know.
No. Yeah.
That's
don't
what
even know
that's what I was trying to avoid. I've heard the stories, and I don't want to come across it.
I don't even know what high school normal is now, and I'm with you. I don't
Trust
wanna
me,
know.
you don't want to come across any of that.
Yeah, it was a lot different when I was in high school.
I'm sure. Oh yeah, I actually no, I know it was.
So let's get back to this Simrec story. Now we've established why you're tired. So we were playing World of Outlaws. I was
Yeah.
in my sim racing seat.
This was third race.
Yeah,
You
so
done-
I'd already won her. I'd already run a 40 lapper.
Yeah,
John ran a 40 lapper. I get back in, and I'm probably halfway through this race,
yep.
if not maybe a quarter, halfway, something. And he was already laughing at me because in practice I flipped,
Yeah,
but I never let off the gas. I just flipped over, landed, and
kept going.
took back off. So here I am in this race, and all of a sudden it's like slow motion. I'm holding on the steering wheel, and everything just starts going up. The back leg on it's a foldable seat, which I guess it'll fold up. I've yet to figure out how to fold it up, but the back
I
leg
figured it out that night.
let loose, so my butt went poop to the floor.
From my perspective,
I never stopped steering.
No, he stayed on the gas the whole time. From my perspective, it was 10 times funnier because I'm sitting there on this couch actually, and I'm on my phone paying attention to the race, half paying attention to my phone, and I look down at my phone, and all of a sudden I hear, and I look, and he's over here holding onto the steering wheel for dear life, still full throttle, and kind of just wide-eyed. And
I couldn't believe it.
You could see it on his face. Honestly, I think that was the closest you've experienced to a NASCAR crash.
I was still steering. I was still trying.
He was still trying to go around the corner.
I had to hit pause, and I wanted to get through the corner before I paused it because I knew it's easier on a straightaway to resume.
Yeah, but he's like this.
Yeah, I was literally laid down, like trying to look over my knees to see what's going on. It was fun.
He went from GT3 to F1 real quick.
Yeah, it was quite comical. Like I never got back in the zone either. That whole race, I was messed up. It just messed me up that whole race.
You finished like 11th.
Yeah, but I went all the way to the back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was making up ground. It took me probably
10 laps
to get back in the groove.
Yeah,
something like that. It was bad.
You were off in practice anyway. It wasn't your race.
I don't know why. I'm usually really good when I'm driving the midgets, so threw me off. All right. Well, let's talk about Kansas.
Oh, Kansas.
They had a string of wrecks there in Kansas. So was Kansas a good race? Kyle Larson won. Jeff Gluck pole. I voted yes. First time ever the poll got above 95.
Yep.
95.8 said yes, it was a good race. 4.2 said no.
I'm curious who voted no.
All right, so I was reading the comments because I wanted to know too, because that race legit, start to finish, great race.
I don't. As far as the racing goes, I don't have any complaints.
I saw people who said they voted no because the winner ruined the whole race for them, and I disagree. I disagree with that. Like,
sounds like if Denny won.
Exactly. Like there shouldn't be you shouldn't just downvote a race because you don't like the winner.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Like Joey Logano, if I invest 3.5 hours into watching a race,
and you watch Joey win, then I'd be inclined to vote no too.
Yeah, so I kind of understand where they're coming from, but
people really like? Are there people that don't like Larson that much? I didn't know there's four.
Larson's got his haters. He's got quite a few haters. People still mad at him. So it's all good. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. I mean, I'm okay with somebody not liking Kyle Larson. I really am. And at first, I was really kind of frustrated about the no vote. But once I thought about it, like I said, Joey Logano would have won that race. I would have still voted yes because
it was a good race.
Well, I don't have a favorite driver anymore. Like, I like certain drivers and I dislike others. But as far as I'm going to go out and buy a Georgia Bulldog T-shirt because I'm a Bulldog fan, I'm probably not going to go out and buy any driver T-shirt.
Right. So
it's not like the Bills.
So I guess what you're saying is if we had this exact same race, but this was like 10 years ago, and Kyle Busch wrecked Dale Jr., would you vote no?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
but that was Dale Jr.
Right. That's our driver.
That's different. That's what I mean. Like I can understand the no vote. Now, like I said, when you don't have a favorite driver, it's easier to vote yes on an overall good race.
Yeah, for just purely racing.
Yeah, the winner, truly the winner doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Except for Joey Logano. And luckily,
Joey has not been on it this year.
Well, Ford has delivered a car this year that Penske can't seem to figure out.
Yeah.
And it truly is a Penske problem.
Yeah.
Because you look at the Stewart-Haas racing. Noah Gragson is outrunning Penske drivers.
Yep.
All three of them.
Uh-huh. He's running really good right now.
Heck, Michael McDowell is outrunning Penske drivers.
When's the last time we talked about Michael McDowell?
Well, we didn't record after Talladega, or we would have been talking about Michael McDowell a lot.
That's true.
Because he's the one that wrecked the whole field. But, yeah, I mean, Michael McDowell's been consistent this year. That's the thing. He hasn't just crapped out. But, no, I mean, I thought it was a great race. Obviously, 4% of you didn't. And that is okay. I'm truly okay with that. I don't know how you get higher than 96% because we are all human. And 4% of you out there are Joey Logano fans and hate Kyle Larson. So you vote no. Or, you could work for NASCAR and then you're not going to agree with the fans at all. But
that's true.
NASCAR employees all voted yes. So Brandon, I'm sure, voted yes. Fox, I give Fox an F again. Overall, the whole weekend. The truck race, horrible coverage.
I honestly didn't pay as much attention to Fox for the Cup race. I didn't watch the truck race. I didn't pay as much attention to Fox for the Cup race because I was just enjoying the racing.
When they showed it, see,
That's true.
I follow along on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'm following Jeff Gluck. I'm reading Jeff Gluck's updates, and he's talking about a great battle on the track. I look up, we're at commercial.
Now, I will have to agree the commercials were, again, just terrible. It felt like we got to watch 4 minutes of racing and then 10 minutes of commercials.
Well, I also don't think I don't think Clint Boyer should be allowed to do rain delays.
See, while the race was being delayed, I was working on my final English paper, so I had something to occupy my time.
I watched the F1 race. More educational for me, less for him. He needs college. I needed the F1 race.
How was the F1 race? I heard Max Verstappen didn't win.
No, and he actually made a mistake, so Lando got up there and won it. And that was kind of cool.
Yeah, he'll probably go on to win the next 5 races. But
yeah, he probably won't lose another one.
Yeah.
He doesn't make many mistakes, and their team's falling apart anyway, so you better enjoy it because it probably won't be as good next season. But I do think that Fox should step aside for one race and let ABC, ESPN, I want their broadcasters and their camera crew. Look, these F1 cars going 45 miles an hour look like they're going faster than the Cup cars do at 180.
That's crazy.
It really, the camera angles they use are designed to show speed. The camera's angles we use are designed to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Their announcers, the whole time I wanted to turn it off because I'm watching this race. I'm like, this is boring. There's not a lot of racing, but it sounds so exciting. I had to keep watching. That's
impressive.
I'm glued to the TV. This has got to be good. I can't tell. I don't see it, but it's got to be good.
It sounds like it's amazing.
It blew my mind.
It opened up to new possibilities.
It's kind of like Kiss opening for Aerosmith. It just ruins it for Aerosmith. And the Fox broadcast team, for me, after I'd watched the F1 race, it's like, no, you guys got to step it up.
It's wow, y'all are just as terrible as I thought.
Hey, Clint, let's cut to the Weber Grill in the infield. Show me this guy cooking sausage because, Kevin's actually making a good point, which Kevin tends to do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times Clint will repeat it. So he makes a good point also, but sometimes he don't. And they cut to a Weber Grill in the infield. We're watching a NASCAR race. Let's not cut to the infield and show some hillbilly cooking. I don't care.
You want to watch racing or you want to watch this dude cook his hot dogs?
So my key takeaways from the Fox coverage that I put in our notes here, the pros, they showed the race. The cons, everything else.
Huh.
I did have another thing to say, though. I'd like to point out when Fox does something good, they didn't overly zoom in. So
I'd have to agree.
Ever since Martinsville, they've gotten a lot better at.
Well, Martinsville was really bad.
Yeah, I think it was just.
Martinsville was terrible.
But like I said, every week we get on here and we talk about the Fox coverage. It's not going to ever get better. Thank God Dale Jr. has officially announced, which I thought he announced this a while back, but he is going to be on TNT and Amazon. So he will be back in the booth next year. That's great news.
Yes.
There'll be at least a 10 race stretch where it's really good. And then NBC will pick it up and do good. And Fox will still continue to Fox it. So,
Yep, that's gonna be like our new thing. Yeah. You foxed it.
You foxed it. You foxed it up. Got to be careful saying that too quick.
Yeah, that
could come out
I
wrong.
was about to say that could get dicey.
All right, so Kansas was a thriller. These next-gen cars might suck at short tracks, road courses, and super speedways, but when it comes to Kansas, it was an amazing race. What did you think?
I thought it was a great race from start to finish. Although I didn't get to see much of stage 2 because I had to go back and finish that paper.
Well, you watched the first stage with me,
Yep.
and
then,
you watched stage 3.
Yeah,
So you saw the important stages.
pretty much.
Stage 2 was, stage 2 was like the whole race. I mean, different lines, different cars,
I know. It was
comers and goers.
it's like, oh, I'm actually watching racing.
Well, maybe that's the key takeaway is they raced.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
Unlike Talladega, where
Where
they
they-
fuel saved.
well,
And
we're gonna talk about Talladega. I put notes in here to talk about Dover, but
nothing happened at Dover.
I can't remember anything.
Me neither.
I was like, what in the world what happened at Dover? Did
like,
anything happen at Dover?
I listened to all the podcasts. Listened to Teardown. Listened to Denny. I listened to DBC Junior. I even listened to Harvick. I still don't remember what happened at Dover. Denny won. That's about it.
And he called his shot.
Yeah,
That was cool.
that was about my key takeaway from Dover. Is Denny called he was going to win it.
And he did.
Yeah, and then he called he was going to win the championship.
We're going to talk about that. So let's just talk about that now. I don't think he did. I think Clint Boyer is an idiot and put Denny on the spot
Oh yeah.
when he shouldn't have.
no,
I don't think Denny would call his shot. Not like Dover on his podcast. He was like, he goes, guys, I'm going to win the race this weekend. I'm calling my shot. That was if Clint Boyer asked me, are you going to do good at your job tomorrow?
yeah,
Yes, of course I
Yeah.
am. I'm not going to say no.
right.
I mean, I could have a bad day tomorrow. I don't know. But you don't say, it's like asking a sales guy, are you going to meet your yearly quota? Heck yeah, I'm going to meet it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to meet it or not, but
but I'm not going to say no.
exactly. So, are you going to win the championship? No. What do you mean? No?
Of course, he's going to say yes.
If you ask Corey LaJoy if he's going to win the championship, he's like, heck yeah, we're going to win it.
Yeah. If you asked Ryan Priest, he might say no.
Yeah, I think Ryan Priest is a realist there. Yeah.
But probably not.
But it's what I'm getting at is it's just a bad look if you say no.
Right. Like, it's a no-brainer. You're going to say yes.
So I don't think Denny technically called his shot. If he wins the championship,
Then he gets to say he called it back.
yeah.
But
But if not,
if not, he gets to say, what was I supposed to say? No?
exactly. He's got an out on that one, I think. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna hold his feet to the fire.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, back to the Kansas race. I mean, stage 1, they were racing like it's the last lap.
I know. Chastain and Larson?
Yeah, they almost wrecked each other 10 times in the first 5 laps.
I know. We were watching it, and I think it was Harvick that said something about, or they had that little clip of all the drivers saying, "Oh yeah, Daniel, or not Daniel, Ross is hard to pass," and I made the joke that he's hard to pass because he'll wreck you. And he almost did.
And then he almost wrecked Larson.
Like 5 minutes later, I was like, "I told you."
Well, he chilled out after that.
Yeah, I think he raced pretty good.
I think he wore his car out because, see, tires were a factor, which
This is not something we get to say much.
we don't really say at all. But, yeah, tires were a factor, and I think he just burned them off. So
Yeah.
I think Ross, which is crazy to me, Ross Chastain has such a good car, but Daniel Suarez finished, what, 27th?
He's in the 20s.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of like Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon.
Right.
You got Kyle Busch running up front, and Austin Dillon,
He's somewhere in like the 30s.
he's in the back. He's got a charter. I don't know why we don't just put Austin Hill in that car.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even know. You don't have to change the whole name. Austin Dillon, Austin Hill. All you need is an eraser or an X-Acto knife. You can cut the letters out. You just take the last name off.
You need that whiteout that they were talking about putting on the track.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. So what's crazy to me is a few years ago, we were complaining in NASCAR about these cookie cutter, boring mile-and-a-half tracks. Like, nobody wwent to Atlanta. You could get a whole section at Atlanta to yourself with the purchase of one ticket.
We did.
Yeah, we legit had rows in front of us, beside us, behind us, empty. I mean, we can't see, move up anywhere. Seats are wide open.
Yep.
Here we are now. I think it's one of the best tracks we got. I mean, we were talking about getting rid of mile-and-a-half tracks, and now you could legit. I could see Kansas hosting 3 races. Yeah. And I'd be okay with it. I mean, we got Kentucky and Chicagoland. I don't know what kind of condition these tracks are in since they've closed them, but
might need to bring them back.
I think they said Chicagoland is like an exact replica of Kansas.
Then why aren't we there?
If that's the case, somebody from NASCAR should have got on a train, plane, or a bus and went to Chicagoland Speedway this morning.
Yeah.
We should be talking, hey, we're going back to Chicago.
Yes.
Or let's just get rid of – see, this is the thing. I don't want to get rid of short tracks.
But like you said, this car sucks at short tracks, at speedways, at pretty much everything besides these mile-and-a-halves.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. But it shouldn't. It shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't. But that's how it is.
We should be enjoying short track. We should enjoy all of it. That's the thing. Like, oh man, they had a Twitter battle last night between Landon Huffman and Mamba, and the grouchy, grumpy Grandpa Dave jumped on and had some bad things to say too.
Oh gosh.
But I mean, Landon Huffman, he made a good point. Like, this car sucks.
Yeah.
At short tracks, which NASCAR was built on short tracks. This car sucks at super speedways. Our biggest ratings on TV come from a super speedway.
Yeah.
There's a problem. And Landon's point was this is not sustainable. If the product on the track doesn't get better.
And like I hate to like downplay Kansas, but if Kansas is our best race every year, then I think there's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, if all mile-and-a-halves were as good as Kansas,
then why don't we just only run mile-and-a-half?
Because I don't want to get rid of short tracks. I mean, here we are talking about shortening races, getting rid of Richmond. Richmond's the action track. It hasn't had action in a while, but it used to be a good race.
Yeah.
Bristol. We got lucky because somebody screwed up the tire compound.
Because Denny peed in the tire.
Denny peed in the tire compound, and we got a good race out of Bristol. But same tires, 30-degree warmer temperatures last August.
It was nothing.
We didn't renew our tickets.
No.
We're not going back. Maybe we need to go to the fall or the spring race and pray for cold weather. But
pray that Denny's got a small bladder that day.
Yeah, well, Denny's my age. He's got a small bladder. All right, so got another question for you.
Yeah.
What first grade class project painted the line at the start-finish line at Kansas Speedway? Like,
oh man,
do we not have a ruler, a straight edge, a 2x4?
No, here's my theory. They got one of those. They bought like a pack of Coca-Colas, and they got one of those cardboard boxes, and they put it at the top of the banking. And just slid down the cardboard box holding the paintbrush, going all the way down.
I think some crackhead out of infield came up and painted it Thursday night.
They do it for free.
With a whiteout marker. It was horrible. I mean, nobody would have ever known if we wouldn't have had the closest finish.
In NASCAR
in the
history.
video, in the pictures we had to show, had this
Yeah.
zigzag line that looked like a first grade class project. Went out there and painted it. Like, all right, kiddies, all 15 of you get a paintbrush, and it don't have to be straight. We have an
Well,
invisible line on a secret camera that we hide on a pole.
Yeah. Like, why don't we paint it from that line? Like, why don't, you know?
Why is the transponder for the start finish line
In the
3
back of the
feet
car.
before the start finish line?
Yeah.
No, the loop they pass
Oh.
over. The last timing loop they pass over is 3 feet from the start finish line. Like,
Why is
who got drunk and put that line in? Like, you're like,
it's like some of these no-brainer things that you're like, oh yeah, start finish line. Even if you said, oh, here's the start finish line, and there's an invisible line. Where do you think that invisible line is? Well, you probably put it at the start finish line.
yeah, instead it's like half an inch, 2 inches past before. Like,
Why?
Larson clearly won that race, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
think Larson won it.
I think he did too.
I think Busher should have put him in the wall in turn 4
Yeah.
and kind of sealed the deal for himself, but he didn't.
I mean,
I don't
he
know
was
if-
pretty close to it though. Like,
Busher could have put him in the wall and been justified.
yes,
Like, you're that Larson made a hole out of something that wasn't a hole.
No, and that that's what Larson is good at. He can drive.
Yeah, he can run that high line better than anybody.
Yeah, and Busher gave him Busher. Let's be honest, Busher really didn't give him any space to go up there, but Larson still went up there.
Larson was going regardless
Yeah,
because like you said, Larson's used to run. Larson was okay not winning it.
yeah.
They came over the radio and go, "We didn't get it." He goes, "Oh, man, darn, we'll get them next time, guys."
Yeah.
Like, you could even tell Cliff Daniels, they're showing him on the video. He's like, "Oh, we lost, whatever.
Yeah,
We'll get them next week." Because legit, Larson knows he's got a good shot at winning next week
right.
before this week ended.
Yeah.
Chris Busher knows he don't.
Right.
So,
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think I would have preferred Busher winning. Honestly.
oh yeah, I'm with you. I wanted Busher to win that race. I was
Yeah.
pulling for Busher to win that race, but I'm okay with Larson. I mean, Larson, you know, he hung him out there,
Oh yeah.
putting it on that high line. I mean, he ran good all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a fluke.
No.
And like I said, without Larson going to the high line and Busher not putting him in the wall, then we noticed the crooked start finish line.
Yep.
Without that, we would have never noticed the crooked start finish line.
No. So, thank you.
And that's a NASCAR on track. At first, I'm like, is this another SMI paint job on a budget? But no, it's NASCAR paint job on a budget. That's what I mean. Denny Hamlin said on Dale Jr.'s podcast last week that NASCAR and the teams walk away with millions of dollars in profit a year.
Yep.
If you're making
He even said that on his show this week.
if you're making millions of dollars of profit,
Why is our start finish line crooked?
like, you don't have to get Bebop from the infield to hop along up there all jacked up on meth and dew and get him to paint the lines. Yeah, we got this line on here. Good. That's straight, ain't it?
Yeah.
And all his buddies are like, yeah, man, that's straight.
Man.
What can't we get Bill from the press box to run down there? Bill's got a steady hand, I'm sure. I mean, Bill's been a stats guy for 47 years.
Yeah.
Has a master's degree in accounting.
Like, what I don't understand is, I mean, we've kind of already said it, but like, get some painter's tape or something. Like, do something.
This is the thing. We had probably one of the best NASCAR races of the last 5 years.
And we're complaining about the start finish line.
It's embarrassing. Our start finish line's crooked. Like,
Oh,
it
man.
was legit. What Denny said looked like Molly painted it. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like,
It's like NASCAR. Come on, guys.
yeah, it's a black eye. Like, here we are coming off something that we should be chest poked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
great
did
race. This is a great race.
it. And instead, we're like, what idiot painted the start finish line? Like,
Yeah.
come on, guys.
NASCAR, yeah, they always find a way to do something.
So do you think Truex was going to catch Denny before that last caution came out?
Watching it on TV, and we've both listened to all the podcasts and stuff, but we watch it on TV, and Martin Truex is hauling it. I mean, you're watching it on TV, and it's like, is he cheating? Because he's running full throttle, while as everyone else that's in the top 5 is running about 60-70%. I mean, we just had like 10 minutes of the booth explaining the fuel saving. So for me, I'm watching. You see Buescher fall off. He's got to save fuel. Hamlin, they bring up his spotter like 3 times, telling him you got to back off. You got to save more fuel. And then they have like the throttle thing at the top, and they're talking about here's how much throttle Denny's running, and we just saw Denny running 68-70% throttle on the straightaways.
You think that's right, though? I mean, the transponder's in the bumper, and the start-finish line's crooked, and the finish line timing loop is 3 feet before the finish line. Do you really think that throttle chase is right? Fox is
probably not. Probably not. But, I mean, if we're going to go off of that, Denny's obviously not running full out, and Truex is. Like, Truex is full 100% throttle all the way.
But his crew chief and spotter were telling him too, just keep pushing Denny.
Yeah,
because he was gonna make Denny run faster, which was gonna cause Denny to run out of gas.
Right. So,
and Denny's crew chief even said, Gabehart said he was about half a lap short. He was gonna run out coming out of turn 4 and have to coast.
Yeah,
but I think Truex would have passed him.
You think so?
Yeah, he was. I mean, Truex was hauling them out. He was.
Oh, yeah.
Before that caution came out, I was thinking, I think they were going into turn 1 and 2, and I'm like, he's got him. Coming out of turn 2, I'm like, he's going to have him by the time they get back to the start-finish line. Now, Denny's crew chief also said he was getting ready to tell Denny, all right, Truex is coming, you need to go. And Denny said he would have beat Truex because he had beat him all day. He was very confident in that statement.
Yeah, and he also, I mean,
you don't know, but
right.
I think Truex was definitely going to catch him.
Yes. Would he have passed him?
When Denny ran out of gas, he would have.
Right.
Denny's already proven he can aero block with the best of them.
Exactly. So, do you think? Now, here's a question for you. Do you think Denny would have been able to aero block him enough and still make it to the start-finish line to finish the race?
He would have had to speed up a lot, but I do think without fuel being in that equation, yes, he could have blocked him for 5 laps.
Oh, absolutely. No, but I'm saying even with the fuel, do you think Denny could have slowed him down, or do you think that's not possible at Kansas?
Yeah, I think Denny could have slowed him down. He could have aero blocked him, but he might have got spun out. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think Denny was going to run out of gas regardless. So Denny can say he would have beat him all day, but Denny was still going to run out of gas. Truex was going to beat Denny. I don't see any way around that.
Yeah.
I mean, just my opinion. So on DBC, they got into a debate, and this is a debate me and you have not had. Me and Jamie have had it. Do you think the championship race should come down to one race, or should it be like a 2 or 3 race shootout?
It shouldn't be one race. I know it shouldn't be one race, or personally, I don't think it should, because I haven't finished DBC, but when they were talking about it, I mean, yeah, of course you don't want your entire season to have to come down to one race. I mean, like let's say Kansas. Let's say this week was the final race of the year, or the championship race. Larson wins the championship. Okay, he's had a great season, but there's all these other guys. Or let's say Buescher wins at Kansas and he wins the championship. Denny's had a great year. Larson's had a great year. You have all these guys who have had great years but lose because of one race.
Well, the example that DBC used, and the example I would use on here, would be Daniel Hemrick in the Xfinity Series. He won one race in his Xfinity career, and it was Phoenix, and he was in the championship 4.
Yeah.
I mean, not that he had a consistent season to get him. I mean, by all means, he had a very consistent season to get him in the Final 4 without a win because he didn't have all those points,
Yeah.
those victory wins. So I think it should be 3 races, personally. I don't think 3 races is enough time for one driver to run away with it. I think you probably get two guys. It comes down to 2 guys, or do 2 races even. I still think 3 is best.
Yeah.
So that makes the question, if it was a 1 race shootout, where do you want the final race to be? And let's take weather out of the equation. We both agree it should be a multiple race shootout, but we're going to pick our 3 tracks. But let's start. If it was a 1 race shootout like it is,
1 race shootout.
Phoenix is not the answer.
No. If it's a 1 race shootout, why don't we just go to like Atlanta?
That's what I said.
I mean, honestly, if we're gonna,
or Kansas,
yeah. But I mean, I'd say bring it to Atlanta because I mean, Atlanta is interesting. It's an interesting race, and they were.
But does Atlanta highlight the championship 4, or does it highlight everybody? So it takes. I hate to say that winning Atlanta doesn't take talent or skill, but does it take some of the talent and skill out of those 4 guys? So
absolutely.
That's why I think you need a 3 race, because I think
that's what I was getting to. Atlanta, anyone can win Atlanta. So
even Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting. It's more interesting than Phoenix.
I think you do a 3 race shootout. Because I have Atlanta. If we're going to do 1 race, I put Atlanta down too. Because I live in Atlanta. And I can go to it.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
But I think you need a 3 race shootout. I think you do Atlanta, Kansas, and then Darlington. Why not? Let's have the championship. And we could do Kansas, late October, Kansas, and then Darlington, 1st of November. Yeah. You could go Kansas, Atlanta, Darlington.
Yeah.
And I think because you have Kansas is in the playoffs.
Right.
So you're just pushing it a few weeks out. So I think you could legit weather-wise even. Like I know we said if weather wasn't a factor, what would we do? But if weather is a factor, then I still think Kansas could be a Final 3.
I think Kansas would be. With this car, it would be a great track for the Final 3.
Now, I mean, I think it would work. You got an SMI and then NASCAR tracks.
Yeah.
So NASCAR gets most of the money, which they like.
Yep.
SMI gets a cut of it, which they like. So, yeah, I think it. I mean, would you change up those 3 tracks, Kansas, Atlanta, Darlington?
No.
I don't want to see a Talladega in the Final 3.
No.
Atlanta's close enough.
Yeah. Atlanta's pushing it there.
So Kyle Busch made a comment last week saying that NASCAR fans from the 90s who pulled for Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, Harry Gant, guys like that, he said that they've just left the sport, stopped watching it, and that those old school fans haven't been able to latch on to new drivers. We kind of touched on this at the beginning of the show when I said I no longer have a favorite driver.
Right.
I mean, do you have a favorite driver?
Not really. I mean, I would probably say I prefer Denny, but
well, that's what Denny's becoming my favorite Denny's becoming my favorite NASCAR personality.
Yeah.
But I find myself pulling for Denny
because of his personality.
Because of his personality.
Yeah.
Like DBC was talking about the branding. I do think that does play a role into it, but not as much as they think. In my opinion, as a fan, like I don't like the fact that I have to buy 7 T-shirts to pull for Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
I think you should have 2 to 3 paint schemes to cover all your sponsors.
Yeah,
they should just have to make it work with your paint schemes. Like changing the paint scheme every week is a no-go for me.
I know it's so hard to. I mean, it's so hard to, especially being at the track. I remember when we went to Atlanta. It was so hard to figure out who was who.
Yeah, if you don't see their number,
It was so hard.
you don't know who it is.
No.
And I don't like that. So I think we need to get the paint schemes under control. But I don't really feel like these drivers are that relatable anymore. I think that's where the disconnect is. I mean, I look at William Byron, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, all these guys, and I don't feel like I can relate to them. Denny Hamlin, I feel like I know the guy
Yeah.
just because of his podcast. Like, I know where he stands on issues, so I feel like he's a little more relatable.
Yeah. You got to be like, yeah, that guy stands for what I stand for.
Yeah, I mean, Denny's not afraid to call NASCAR out.
Right.
He's not Dave. He doesn't mind calling NASCAR out.
Yeah. I've just recently started to listen to DBC. I find myself rooting for spotters and crew chiefs.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing when I was talking about Bubba Wallace. I like Bubba. He's just not the driver I pull for on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wins, great. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I don't Joey Logano him,
Nope.
but I really like Freddie Kraft, his spotter.
Mhm.
I really like Denny Hamlin, his owner, and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm a big Tyler Reddick fan. I like Tyler Reddick, but I like Tyler's personality. He's been on DBC a couple times,
Yep.
and
It's funny.
yeah, he's a funny guy. He's relatable,
Yes.
and he's trying to be Noah Gragson, another guy. He's building his brand like that. To me, I'm a fan of Denny's brand more than I am of Denny the driver.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could find me a cool DHR, like a Denny Hamlin racing hat, or actually, I'm going to get an Actions Detrimental hoodie, but it got hot, and I'm like, I'm not buying a hoodie while it's hot. So
I'm not going to buy a hoodie in July.
yeah, so I mean, I like Denny talks about the charter deal. I mean, Denny's the guy who we get all our charter deal information from pretty much as a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Bianchi put out an article on the charters, and then Denny come out on Dale Jr.'s show last week, and he's like, if the charters go away and the purse at the racetrack's not big enough, why would we come? We just won't show up.
Yeah. And that was like wow. Yeah. Okay. Like, that's pretty bad.
The one comment Denny made that really stuck with me was tracks are making, like I said, 9 figures a year.
Yeah.
They're walking away with multi-million-dollar profits. NASCAR, 9 figures a year, walking away with multi-million-dollar profits. The teams lose money every single year.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it as like a business, why would you want to go into NASCAR?
Yeah, I mean, if the charter deal, and they want to do these charters on a 7-year lease, they don't, because if they give them to them permanently, then that's NASCAR doing something they don't do, and that's give up some control. And NASCAR don't like, it's been the iron hammer forever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens here.
Me neither. Like, what is the ideal resolution?
The ideal resolution is for the teams to make more money.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal resolution. Now, I don't see NASCAR and the tracks wanting to give up any money, but they're going to lose money without the star power. And our star power is weak. Kyle Busch was not wrong in that.
Yeah.
But we've got to get this charter deal done, or it's going to become an issue. And
It's becoming an issue.
It should not be what we're talking about.
No. Why are, I mean, we're not casual fans, but why are we coming off of Kansas, a great race, talking about the business side of NASCAR?
Because it's out there.
Yeah. And it's being a big deal.
Well, I mean, yeah. And it shouldn't be, though.
Like, it shouldn't.
We should be talking about scoring pylons.
How they're wrong.
Yeah. But That's why we don't need them. They're not right, so we don't need scoring pylons. That's why they messed it up this weekend. NASCAR intentionally did.
They're trying to get rid of all the scoring pylons.
See, guys, we told you we didn't need scoring pylons.
Yeah. I think what we've learned from this race is that their scoring system is all jacked up anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to move your timing loop or move your start-finish lines back. Whichever one's easier.
Yeah.
You need to put the transponders in the nose of the car, not the bumper. And you need to paint your finish lines straight. You need to close your charter deal. Like, we shouldn't be talking about this. You shouldn't have Michael Jordan, who in Victory Lane at Talladega was just phenomenal to see.
Yeah.
Talking about if NASCAR doesn't get this charter deal worked out, it's going to be a big miss. You don't need Denny going on Dell Jr. download saying
that they're not going to go to tracks.
Yeah, we're going to skip tracks next year if they don't pay us enough money to come to them. Like, it's just a lot of bad looks.
It's ridiculous, is what it is.
And when the racing is not top tier racing, and it's not. Atlanta was great.
Bristol was great.
Bristol was an accident, but great.
Yeah, and Kansas.
Kansas was great.
I will say, even though this car has sucked, and it's still sucked this year, our good races have been really good races.
So they're either really good or really bad. We gotta
have a middle
Can
ground.
we get another car?
Please.
Can we? No, I mean, hear me out. Can we have a intermediate car and then have a short track road course super speedway car?
Yes, please. Can we do that?
Can we just run the Xfinity cars? We ain't even got to add more power to them. Whatever. I'm over that. I watched them run around Talladega at half speed, and that was god awful. But like, I'm over the power thing. NASCAR obviously doesn't want to give more power. They don't want to give. Well, they don't want to give us anything that we want.
No. They
want to give us what they want to give us and tell us it's good. They want to pee on you and tell you it's raining. That's what they want to do. Like, I'm not happy with it.
I'm
like you said, we come off a Kansas race, and here we are complaining about the business aspects of NASCAR, and we're fans.
Yeah, like,
there's the problem.
What's going on here? Well, we kind of just covered what's going on.
It's all about that money.
Yep,
it's what it's all about. So we talked about Dover. Nothing really happened. Denny called a shot. Michael Jordan made it to Victory Lane with Tyler Reddick at Talladega since we last recorded.
That was cool. That was cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, watching him pick up Bo.
Yeah.
That was like, that kid doesn't know it, but like, that picture, that should be his profile picture the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets on dating websites, that's the picture I would use. See me with Michael Jordan 20 years ago? Date me. I don't think he'll need a dating app. But
no.
Now, watching Michael Jordan in Victory Lane was probably, I'm not a basketball guy. I'm not an NBA fan.
I'm not either.
But I know who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who Michael Jordan is, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're 17.
He's the greatest of all time.
Tyler Reddick's son knows him because of the shoes.
No, I know of his shoe, but I know what he did for basketball.
Eric Jones will be back this weekend.
Oh, really?
He's coming back to Darlington.
Well, that's good. He had that wasn't that long of a recovery.
2 weeks. It was a fractured his back. So
that was a hard hit. He took.
It was a very hard hit. Yeah, I mean, John Hunter Nemechek got overzealous. Took out the Toyotas.
Yeah, thanks, Nemechek.
That's a legacy motor club thing.
Yeah, that's like
when you name your team Motor Club, you're going to have moments like that. I bet they're wishing that.
It's part of the contract.
Noah Gregson's probably going like, "Thank y'all," as he's passing them. Like, bye.
It's like, I really needed.
I remember that car. So slow. So slow back there. That's so slow car. Fuel saving, half throttle.
That was boring.
You could legit see it, dude.
On TV, you see them running half throttle.
It's very, very. Look, these cars look slow due to the camera angles. The cars look slow anyway.
Yeah.
When they're running 20 miles an hour slower than their fastest speed, or 30 miles an hour, they were running 30 miles an hour faster at the end of each stage.
Yep.
When they're running 30 miles an hour slower, it's obvious on the track. So
yeah.
I'm not a fan. It is what it is. Daytona and Talladega, the next two races are going to be the exact same way.
Yep.
Hopefully, Michael McDowell will be there to throw a 2-week late block and do about $20 million in damage. But, it gave us something to talk about.
Yeah.
If it wouldn't have been for that, we would all been complaining about fuel savings. So
thanks, Michael. We got to complain about you a little bit.
yeah, we're not just complaining about Sunoco. We're complaining about Michael. So.
Yeah.
But other than that, Talladega was horrible. I voted no.
I did. I would have if I had.
If he was on social media,
I would have voted no.
So what else you got? Anything else before we wrap it up?
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Kyle Larson throwback. I love that car.
Terry Labonte throwback?
Yeah.
Did you see? So I don't like the Chase Elliott throwback to Dale Jr. I don't think Chase earned it. I don't think you should throw back to the greatest. I don't know. I say that, but I just don't like it because it's a different number. Like,
right.
That's
the Terry Labonte is the same number.
Exactly. The Jeff Gordon 24 flame throwback.
Yeah.
Whatever. Number. I feel like they do this all. Williams gonna run out of throwbacks for Jeff soon, but
yeah,
I think you need to keep it with the number. The number being different throws me off.
I kind of agree with that.
Throwing it back to Jimmy.
Yeah,
and that's a good looking car actually.
Yeah. What? Okay. Why doesn't Chase do a Bill Elliott throwback?
He's done them in the past, but
why does he do another one?
I think HMS was trying to throw it back to HMS because they're that good.
Right.
They think that highly of themselves. So like, we're going to throw it back to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like Chase should have threw it back to Chase. That would have been really high thinking of himself.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a Chase Elliott decision either. I like to pick on my friends that are Chase Elliott fans and say he hasn't earned the Dale Jr. throwback. I don't like it. I just don't. Not because he hasn't earned it, because
it's not the 88.
It should not be a 9. It should be an 88. If
Yeah.
you're going to put Chase in the Dale Jr. throwback, you should put a little bitty 9 and a big 88 on there.
Yeah.
Make the 9 invisible. Use invisible ink, disappearing ink, something. But that's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
But the 5 is great.
Is there an 88 even on the track anymore?
No, not right now. No, there's not an 18 either.
Yeah.
Because Ty, he took over brought the 54 up with him, which I'm good with. Like the 18 was Kyle.
Right.
So Busch needs a break. Did you see Brad Keselowski saying thank you to Kyle Busch for leaving and no longer being sponsored by Mars because he can now eat peanut M&Ms?
Oh, really?
He said he wouldn't eat them before because of Kyle Busch.
Oh, that is awesome.
And he put out a social media thing. I thought it was really funny.
That is funny.
I love their dislike for each other. I didn't know they still disliked each other, but obviously they do, and that's great for us.
Yep, that gives us more entertainment.
So, all right. Well, next weekend is Darlington race at 3 p.m. on FS1, and it is a short track.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's a good race.
Hopefully, that's what we're hoping.
You never know with these cars.
Yeah.
But you got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Well, thanks to everybody who listens, watches, shares the show on social media each week. Thank you for following us on X. If you don't follow us, we're at Car Backwards. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out all our videos. Make sure you like them. Check us out on Spotify. Make sure you follow us there as well and rate us. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review like Brandon did. When you leave us a review, it helps other people find the show. If you would like, you can email us. We're at racecarbackwardspod@gmail.com. Other than that, make sure to check out Designs by Sydney. Support her work. She's a big supporter of this show, and she does phenomenal work.
Yep.
So other than that, y'all have a great week, and we'll see y'all after Darlington.
Yep.
Bye.